All right, I'm Kenny. This is Denny.
Denny.
So we're gonna talk about the civil war that's going on in Turkey today, as my friend Denny doesn't know anything that's going on currently in Turkey. So to give you a basic rundown of what's going on, there's a war going on between the Turkish government and an ethnic group that lives in the Middle East known as the Kurds. Have you ever heard of the Kurds before? No? Okay. So they're just an ethnic group that lives in the Middle East, and a high population of them happens to live in Turkey. And since they've been having their human rights suppressed, the president of Turkey is trying to commit a genocide against all Kurdish people.
It's aggressive.
Yeah, it's very aggressive. So they want to make their own country, Kurdistan, just like how there's Pakistan was made from India.
Is the ruler's name Kurd or something?
On what? No. Not. It's just like I don't know where the Kurd term comes from. No, it's fine. We're just gonna keep going at this point. It's ladies' night at the bar, so we're just gonna keep rolling with this. So there's the Kurds and the Turkish government. The official war started in 1978, but even when Turkey was founded in 1923, post World War I, there was still tension between the Kurds and the Turkish government. And even when modern-day Turkey was the Ottoman Empire, there was still problems. So the issue between the Kurds and whoever has been controlling the area, which is now modern-day Turkey, has been going on for over 2 centuries. So this has been a problem that's been going on forever, since before America was founded.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild actually that it's been going on this long, and like a lot of people don't really know how bad it is. So about like 2 years ago, the current center for the New York Knicks, when he was playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder, was in his native country of Turkey for the summer. And what ended up happening was, since he was very outspoken about his dislike for the president and the way that he's been going about treating the Kurdish people and just people in general, that anybody that's opposed the Turkish government has been, like, quote-unquote, silenced. So what ended up happening is he found out that the Turkish authorities were coming after him, so he fled to Indonesia. And then when he got to Indonesia, he went to Romania so he could catch a flight to America. But what ended up happening is he got held up at the Romanian airport because the Turkish government revoked his passport. So they were hoping that since they revoked his passport, then they would just send him straight back to Turkey. But what ended up happening was, this is where it gets crazy. The Department of Homeland Security, 2 Oklahoma senators, and the Oklahoma City Thunder all got together, and they went and got Enes Kanter from Romania and brought him back to America. But it doesn't stop there. Like, the Turkish government is really ruthless. So despite their first failed attempt to lure Enes Kanter back to Turkey so they could arrest him, what they ended up doing was they ended up arresting Enes Kanter's father, who actually, prior to his arrest, publicly disowned his son in a pro-government newspaper. But I don't necessarily think that his dad held the view that he did. It was more just like a save your ass thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're living in Turkey and you're associated with someone who is against the regime, you kind of have to save your own ass.
Yeah.
So the article that his father wrote necessarily isn't his true view, but it was something to do to save face just so he could live peacefully within Turkey. And they ended up arresting his dad in hopes that Enes Kanter would go back to Turkey to get his dad out of jail. And then when he would go to Turkey, they would arrest Enes Kanter in exchange for releasing his father. Enes didn't go back. He actually made a tweet in which he referenced the president of Turkey being a modern-day Hitler. And then they ended up releasing his father 5 days later from jail. So that situation settled. But there's been numerous stories where people have spoken out against the government, and they've either been put in jail or killed or just made an example of.
Damn.
Yeah, and a lot of people really have no idea how bad it is in Turkey, because like, a lot of times we hear things like about North Korea, and obviously just like a lot of the issues in the Middle East, and Turkey kind of gets overlooked.
I didn't even know all that.
Yep, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it. That's what's happening in Turkey. We're going to get a move on. We're going to get out of here. We'll catch you guys later.